Well, thank you for joining Wolf Game Theory today, as always. And just know nothing in the show is to be construed or interpreted as financial advice. Also, any guest of the show is not reflective of the opinions and/or point of view of Wolf Game Theory and should be considered opinion. Thank you.
Good day, everybody out there on the farm. This is the Wolf Game Report. I am Layer Cake, and as always, I'm joined by
Neil Bottle.
We got a special treat for you today. We're going to be joined by none other than the Alpha 8 himself, Mr. GaryVee's. But before that, let's jump right to it. The standings in the top four remain unchanged today. We have the real crypto coach Corey with G Money, followed by Panther, and then Wongsworth hanging out on the fourth spot. AJ Vanderchuk has jumped up to number 5, passing the real crypto coach Corey, followed by Woolish 1026, our guest GaryVee's, Lord Fenrir, just some guy who just seems to be falling and falling, followed by Friends 721, the Shamdu, aka the lackey of King Corey, and the Malcode, followed by the Anon. Running through the history today on the attacks and fortifications, we got Pack 4775, the Anon, attacking AJ Vander, destroying one of his many fortifications that he holds near and dear to his heart. Next, we have the real crypto coach Corey attacking the G Money, who is now feeling the ire of real crypto coach Corey. It seems that House G Money and Panther are sort of a tandem right now that are just getting it from both sides. We then have GaryVee's, who attacked Wongsworth, which was an interesting move. We haven't seen Wongsworth be pulled into the fold, but we see the Vanderchucks now putting Wongsworth in their sights. I feel that is a short-term goal of theirs to get above Mr. Wongsworth. We then have the Ferenz attacking Woolish 1026, who just seems to be sort of really taking a lot of hits from the lower teams. It seems like Woolish 1026 is right in that middle part, or was at least,
in that fire line. Yeah,
seeing advantage to knocking him down. Just some Kai once again attacks the crypto coach Corey. We can go ahead and just pencil that in each week, I think. 1026 on a fortification. It feels like that's a desperate move right there. He just wants to stop the hits from coming. Wongsworth fortifies one more time. The Shamdu attacked Mr. Panther, so following that two-headed snake that those two have going on with this Corey and Shamdu. And then we have Malcode, who attacked Panther, and I think we can all pretty much guess who that is, unless it could be the Farmer Rebellion. Anyway, if you want to scooch over, do you want to? Let's talk a little bit about the standings right quick, and then we'll go over to Malcode's Mercenary.
Okay.
As we look right now, we've got the real crypto coach Corey, team number 2, which is locked and loaded for his move. I mean, your guess is as good as mine. It seems as though he's going to basically knock off either Panther or G Money. My money's on G Money because he wants to increase that distance between the two.
Yeah.
And then, an interesting theory I've had watching this sort of little feud pop out is maybe Crypto Corey wants to lessen the gap between G and Panther so that maybe they attack each other in hopes of maybe distancing themselves into second if they find first unattainable. But as of right now, I think G Money and Panther have their eyes on first. Going down the line, it looks like we have AJ with the next move in 4 hours, locked with Lord Fenrir, so those two got 4 hours to go on their moves. And then it kind of spaces out to the bottom team, Mr. Malcode, who has the next move. Or I'm sorry, not Malcode, that was Panther QB and then Malcode. And everybody else kind of falls to the way of the day. So, yeah, a lot of interesting movement. Let's go solve the mystery of Malcode if you want to, and then we can chat about this a little bit.
Yeah, so it has sold, and it's sold for the grand price of 16,000 277. Sorry. So yeah, it's not too bad, We've 16,000, 15,000, that bargain of 6. But yeah, it's I really like this website. So
now, is that the Farmer Rebellion who launched that attack?
That one for 6, I think, is the one they claimed. All right, yeah. So Malcode's army was engaged to fight against 12641. So Malcode has another 14 hours till his attack, And who is that hit on?
Oh,
One
yeah, I
two
don't know. It's
six
hard to
four
say.
one. It is on G Money. So
Oh yeah.
Malcode is hitting G Money next.
Wow.
Wow is right.
And do we know who launched that attack?
We don't. No.
So it's anonymous at this point. Well, I mean, it would make sense that it was Corey, but now with this new sort of mass marvel known as the Farmer Rebellion, we could assume that maybe those G Money, who was sort of called out in their tweet, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. This is an interesting little wrinkle, though, that can really throw off some of the strategies that some of those top teams maybe had in mind now that we have this wild card sort of dishing out abuse to some of the bigger teams in the space. Oh wow, look at that. That's that GIF right there. Looks like Metapunk is still sponsoring that advertisement, which is good. Look at
He
the low
is,
price,
yeah.
huh?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's great.
20 cents.
It's nice.
We'll get into that a little later. I have a couple theories as to what's driving up the wool price, but I talked to Black Sheep last night, and he wants to come on and outline his strategy going forward for the game, and also his little theory on Black Sheep that sort of took the community by storm and drove up that floor price on Black Sheep. But
Yeah,
it
that'll be
looks
fun.
like everything's a little bit lower today, just
Yeah.
a touch, right? We
Yeah.
have those farmers at 0.65, land at 0.32, and the wool pouch at just under half an ETH. So if you're out there and thinking about picking some up, these prices look kind of appealing. So looks like the wolves as well, alpha sevens. Yeah, it's looking pretty steady. I think this sort of lull period in the game has sort of, I think, stabilized the game to a
Yeah,
certain degree,
yeah.
wouldn't you
No,
say?
I definitely agree. And I think this, yeah, it seems kind of about right for where it's been a little bit low on some things, especially that land. But yeah, that can quickly change with a tweet, as we all know.
Now, do you feel like this is a really good place to start onboarding people? Like, as far as like if people aren't sure about coming into the game or they want to learn about it, do you think this is a good juncture in our journey here to have people jump into the
Long
game?
term, in terms of if somebody is planning to learn about the game and that sort of thing, I definitely think it's not a bad time. But
Right.
if you are interested, you like the idea of the game and you understand the concept, yeah, it's not a bad entry point. But you could always wait a little bit longer and see how that works out.
I think, well, just my little 2 cents on that is just like, if I'm getting further and further along in this sort of idea that we're going to just seamlessly go into the next phase. So I feel like in my tummy, my spidey sense, my sheep sense is going off and just saying that like maybe this lull period here before the second game would be sort of the best time to get in and sort of establish at least your initial position,
Yeah,
and get to know the community, get to know, in this little period where people can really dedicate that time. At least the majority of us, I feel like, the people who are spending the most time in this right now are the alpha 8s and sort of their little inner circle. They're the ones that are really spending the most time in this game, whereby the sheep and the wool stakers are kind of just having fun, relaxing, kind of waiting. So I feel like this is a good time. So if you do have friends or family or people that are, anybody that's coworkers that are interested in, and they're, oh, well, I don't know what time. I think now is a good time to get in, because you could, as we see wool begin to creep up now, I think this is good. I would have said a week ago would have been a good time, but, now that I see wool starting to creep up, I feel like this is starting to be that anticipation of not only the second interim game, but the full launch game as well.
yeah, we're definitely seeing sort of strong support on that 19 cent level,
Right.
and before that, that kind of 18 cent. Yeah, so it's looking well at the moment. Holding strong, holding strong.
Yo,
Yo
Yo, what is up?
yo.
how we doing?
Oh, we doing good, man. How you doing?
I'm good. I've been amazed just watching the wolf and sheep and wool counts just still trickling up. Not gonna
I
lie, it's
Okay.
been more sustained than I would think.
Right? It's
Yeah,
pretty incredible actually when you think about it.
yeah. I mean the wool, especially.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
Like,
mean,
look at my wool count. Like I was at like 5 million wool, dude.
I've been tracking you all right. You've been really coming up steady the last few days. It's great to see,
Yeah,
and
we're excited.
yeah, and
yeah,
also
yeah.
on that calculator, in terms of the rewards, you're right up the top there now.
Yeah, the I mean we gotta get event two in the mix
Right.
because that's such a variable. But I'm really glad about how event one went down. Kind of just had a feeling like this 11 million wool is like kind of a big deal, and the game's early that people are still not super loyal.
Right.
So I'm glad having them bank. I think we're gonna try to tee up AJ for the second event.
Yeah, so I wonder, and I've asked this of a lot of the Alpha 8s that we've had on, is like how do you like, I guess first I want to ask, like, what is winning to you? What is
Yeah,
winning?
we've AJ and I from the get were super aligned because we also talked to Gary about it, being like, hey, they're your alphas, like what do you want out of it? And he's full tilt about making the people that staked with his alphas, AJ and I, like be pumped that they got good value. Like, so obviously our heads first went to just like a good expected wool outcome, which wool event one has put me into a good spot on. And what's also nice is that we can move around across AJ and I and help those dynamics. So just like good expected earnouts. It's hard to control because you can try to dictate some of the behavior, but then people will stake with you or unstake, and like it's there's all these kind of like natural corrections that Shep kind of built in. But
Mhm.
expected value, we definitely wanted to at least have AJ, because it was pretty clear that AJ's a lot of love in his own right in Web3 and everything, and um, we definitely wanted him to be high-ish, like
Right.
top 5, I would say. Sorry, my pup is making a fuss. And then for
Okay.
me, like I'm honestly, I started off in like 12th or something, and I was like, that's about right. Like, but so I'm because also yeah, like we were dictating our initial strategy was try to push wool to me and push animals to AJ, and I was
Right.
gonna be like the attack machine,
Right.
Yeah,
and then that kind of self-corrected. So I'm stoked. I then thought for a while I'd be at 9th, and then I think 7th is definitely in my sights, maybe 6th if we just attack. If Corey 2 just keeps getting bludgeoned.
Oh man.
But Corey's resilient as hell in his own right. But yeah, long story long, good expected value for the teams. Gary from the get, people have been asking like, how early on did you know you wanted to do a drop? And Gary knew he was going to do something sneaky like that, like
Okay.
going into it. Like didn't know exactly what it would be, but knew it would be NFT-esque, probably tied to Be Friends.
Right.
And so we had that at our disposal, and it's playing out, pretty much as we hoped it would. And then what's so nice too is that like it seems to move the price of wool a little bit, and then everyone
Mhm.
gets stoked about that. So we're pumped.
Yeah, I think it was a couple episodes ago we were talking about this sort of middle of the pack, and things are starting to heat up there with old Woolish 1026 and Wongsworth and 8. That middle of the pack now is going to really start giving us some action, I think, on the board.
I agree. I'm Fenrir. I'm a
Oh.
little worried about our boy Fenrir.
yeah, but you've it stacked higher, and you're just
Yeah.
about to hit this 1 mil in the next 24 hours for sure.
Yeah.
But you've got some great earning going on.
Yeah.
So I can see you getting right up there behind AJ pretty soon.
Yeah. Woolish is in a tough spot because we there aren't like formal alliances, but like I'll talk with Fran or talk with Just Some, and like he's the kind of guy they can all catch.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so, and
Yes.
then he's now defenseless, and so now it's like, and this is why it's so interesting. The game, it's just
Yeah.
even if you're middle of the pack, it's
Yeah.
like you can just end up in this position. Corey obviously knew what he was signing up for, but
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
So how do you feel about this farmer rebellion sort of wrinkle that's been injected here?
I mean, I love all of it in the macro because it's just like great, like the whole Black Sheep Coalition and like everyone's factions. Like I just love it. All your guys' personas, like the farmer personas out there and all that good stuff. But yeah, they're a little they came in pretty hot, you know.
Yeah.
Like, what do the alphas ever do to them, you know?
Right. Yeah, you know, I think it's that's probably, I would say, the best thing about this community is just what you know sprouts up around it, and just the you know the applications and the lore and just how into it people get. It's really amazing.
It's like the best example I've seen. And I think that there's a theme with Wolf Game. It's like there's a lot of hype about play to earn and NFT games and like IP and like creative licensing. And then in Wolf Game, it's like actually happening. Like actual game stuff is being built, like actual. And it's the best example I've seen of like, because we've asked Shep about, hey, we might want to mint, you know, the animations that Term made for us, like as relics. Like, is that cool with you? Like, and he was like, yeah, it's, you know, everything is Creative Commons. It's like, it's all quote unquote official, but not, it's not like he's going to publish it, but it's all like in canon, I guess I would say.
Yeah.
And so then you have stuff like what Malcode made, his site, and it's like perfect.
Blew my mind.
Yeah. Like you have Corey's animations, and like, it's all, and since everyone knows the community so well, the Farmer Rebellion, it's like all on brand for Wolf Game. And it's like, it's not just because with Bored Ape, I love Bored Ape, but it can kind of feel scattershot. It's like, well, this ape's doing this ape's doing that, and it's all like this kind of chaotic.
Right.
But I just really love everything going on.
Yeah. At the end of this, I'm going to ask you your predictions for the Super Bowl too. So not only on the teams, but possibly just NFT wise. So I know Neil has.
Oh yeah. I'll be much more useful on the marketing and NFT side.
Yeah. So you are actually, that's another question. So it's, you know, you are the head of media, right, at the Vayner Media, is that right?
Yes.
So you do the purchasing, right? So you're the guy who makes the decisions as far as like how the brand is going to get exposure. Is that right?
Yeah. So head of investment, but investment is synonymous with media buying, paid media, and Vayner Media proper, like the agency business. There's obviously like Vayner Sports and there's Vayner Commerce, but Vayner Media proper, which is like the biggest personnel wise of it all. And like our media buying practice, like how we hire and train up our buyers, the platforms we use is my like remit, but we're much more like buying TikTok ads and you know Meta and Snapchat and all of that, you know, these self-service ads tools, real time. We do some traditional media, like some linear television buying and radio, but that's much more like the exception versus the rule. So and with Super Bowl, like big holding company media agencies are typically the ones buying the spot. We're making some of the spots through our creative arm because Vayner has a whole creative department, but I'm not quite at Super Bowl spot buying yet. But I can buy the hell out of like social ads, Google, that sort of thing.
That's awesome. And so you probably see a lot of. Well, actually, let me dial that back for a second. Just keep it Wolf Game relevant. Do you see a future for media buying within sort of P2E games on the blockchain, like we're doing here?
Yeah.
You see a little bit of it in the one website where I think it was .tools or live where they have the little gifts, and I think
Yeah.
so something like, do you see that happening?
I mean, definitely. There's a few interesting things going on with like blockchains and media and NFTs and media. Like for one, there's just a ton of ad fraud in the media buying space and like, bot traffic and things like that. And
Absolutely.
sites that, especially with like programmatic buying, sites that aren't actually meaningful sites at all. And that's where there's been some efforts around really just like ad tech using blockchain and ledger and like fraud reduction. And so that's a big problem with that, at least from what I've been told, is like you need to be able to serve billions of ad impressions like really rapidly, and it's just it's just a whole infrastructure thing. But
Absolutely,
there's that. And then I mean, we're already doing things like in Twitch stream activations and Fortnite activations, and
right.
It totally makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be like, if in Silicon Valley, where there's like in one of the later seasons when he has like the headset, the hot mic on the headset, and like
in the show,
like, keep the ads and shit. Like, I don't want NFT and Web3 to be like that. That would suck. But it's a fine line,
Oh, no doubt. And I think, as the technology evolves and as we begin to understand the use case a little more, it'd be easier question to answer down the line. But the potential is there. I think the potential for everything is there, right? In Web3, isn't that what they say? We can just put everything in there.
And now you have Meta. You have MetaPunk on the ad space with this 222 thing, which
I love
the
it.
red ticket. I don't know what's going on.
I got one. I passed it on, just kind of willy nilly, and the person said thank you. Like he was really stoked about it. So I was like, all right, I did my thing.
Exactly.
But no, I'm really excited. I'm actually, full disclosure, I will be moving an animal, or not moving an animal, but placing an animal on one of your teams to earn myself one of those drops for sure. I missed out on the first V-Friend. I missed out on the book. I'm FOMOing in right now.
Yeah, good. And if you're into Wolf Game too, it's like the best of both worlds. So.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
For sure.
And that's that. I don't know, Neil. Do you have a question before I answer my next one? I feel like I'm hugging the mic.
No, I don't. I think you asked two of my questions, so I'm happy enough there.
Oh, good.
But I would like to add in about the. I have some wool staked with yourself, and I'm planning on staking some more as well. Waiting for that drip to come along,
Yes, aren't we all?
Yeah,
right. It's great. It's wonderful. Yeah, I think that I'm excited for this next wool game. I'm also excited about the full game. But I feel like there's been a real kind of rush recently to onboard people. And I just want to be the first to really thank you guys. Obviously we're going to thank Gary for the whole NFT space enthusiasm. But you guys specifically, I think, have done a really great job at being present and being willing to be accessible to the community and being willing to talk to people about it. I mean, I don't want to be presumptuous in your private lives, but I'm sure that people will approach you in your private life, be like, what are you doing? Like, what are these
totally.
Sheep going?
Totally.
So, in that, do you see yourself being an active member in the Wolf Game community past this game? Maybe not. When I say active, let me just, just a player, not necessarily, to be chief spokesperson. But.
Yeah, no, for sure. And thank you for the kind words. It's like, having Gary behind the whole thing, even just being able to tap his VFriends team and be able to do an official collab is like helps a ton. It's like I feel like I have a little sense of what it's like to be him. It's like, okay, I have your Alpha 8 and I have like VFriends behind me. It's like, this is fun, man. I'm loving it. And this is what's cool about my job at Vayner, like learning Discord and getting better at Discord is something I like do need to be getting better at for my job, because like ad opportunities are coming and brands are like, what the hell is going on? And so that we had to stand up, our own Discord channel and get mods and create some, bots and stuff, like was helpful. So that's been cool. Yeah, I'm definitely, I mean, after this, I'm full tilt into Wolf Game, like no doubt. I'll be I think it'll be a tough pill to swallow. I think I tweeted at Gary the other day about this. Tough pill to swallow going from Alpha 8 to just, regular citizen. But, I also, I own my own humble flock.
Yeah.
And farmer and all that. So yeah, definitely will be active. And it's like the Wolf game is definitely the one that's like clicked for me as far as when people like live in a certain NFT project's Discord and like are all about it.
Right.
It's definitely been the one for me, and like it's just my speed. I was an economics major. I love
cool.
the game theory elements, how Shep rolls, even the mods. Like big shout out to the mods.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. Yeah, personally.
Yeah, for sure. And now I'm seeing more people with VFriends icons, like Discord icons in our Discord.
Cool.
So there's definitely, our thing is definitely help some of the VFriends feel like, oh, I'll learn this game. Like I want a mini drop.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's been cool.
Yeah, I think that's where a lot of the value is going to come in, is that crossover with other projects. I know, we're on Team G Money, so obviously he crosses over with his people, and yeah, it's really awesome to watch the crossover into communities, and have it be positive. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, G Money gets the same paradigm too, big time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the thing I love about G Money is like he is so willing to go out there and really like, I was actually watching an Instagram video today where he was on it with these two people who don't really know anything about NFTs, and he was just shooting the shit with them and breaking it down. And it's a real skill to be able to be in the room with somebody who doesn't know and has a huge audience and not go over their head with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like,
oh, totally.
Yeah, but not make them, I don't know what the
be respectful.
Yeah, not make someone feel stupid or feel, like they're not cool or whatever, but at the same time be very humble and very welcoming and very understanding, and be able, that's the mark of a true sort of, pioneer in the space, is someone who can explain it at all levels, from the high intellectual to the person who has no idea. So
totally agree. It's actually harder in many ways to like distill it down to the simplest, most relatable concepts.
Right.
Gary was getting some real love today on his version of that, on that whatever news program that was. Have you seen that video?
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. All right, that was just excellent, like so well executed, and that little smirk. Just when I seen that, it was like, ding, and then he's got away with words for sure. It was very impressive, and like what I loved was how the community just immediately surrounded it with love, and I seen like King Gary memes, everything, and then
and then all the memes and things come out. It's like hilarious. That's what blows my mind too. It's like all of a sudden there's already like an animation for it in Discord, and everyone the Discord community goes nuts. Yeah, he's on another level. I texted him being like, I was like, this is amazing, and you look so tired. Because I know he's in Dubai doing something.
Absolutely.
And he's like, I haven't been, he's had like 3-hour nights of sleep sort of thing, but he clearly was like zen. So
yeah, it's pretty remarkable, all the things that gentleman does. I relate to Gary on a different level because he and I are the same age. I'm from New York, I'm a stone's throw from where he grew up. I'm a Knicks fan.
Yeah.
Don't like to say it too loud these days, but I feel the pain. My brother's a Jets fan. I'm actually a Giants fan, so don't.
Okay. At least one.
We're feeling the pain this year. So I know what it's like to not be disturbed on Sunday and whatnot. But I really was, and I was a collector of sports cards and everything, and just tried to side hustle my way from collecting newspapers and stuff. So that's the kind of stuff that resonates. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that resonates with me. And just seeing his approach to life, I read the 12 and a half,
nice,
and that really resonated with me because I am a business owner, so relating to the employees in that way. And then I feel like being the same age and growing up in the same place, we have the same sort of demeanor that can be misconstrued sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
At least I feel like his younger self was more like this, where it's a very direct, very just sometimes
more
it could.
brash.
Sometimes,
back in the
yeah.
day.
Sometimes people walk away and what's wrong with that? Like, why is he so pissed off? I'm like, I'm not pissed off. Why are you telling me?
It's a passion, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So he's really the kind canter aspect of what he's pushing right now is really resonating with me.
Yeah.
And that's something that is really helping me in my relationship with my employees, my relationship with my family, just coming home from a long day and just taking that moment to just kind of reset and allow. And
Yeah.
I imagine working for him, that's probably something that he's probably, with my very sort of aesthetic understanding of him, I imagine that whatever he's into at the moment, he's trying to push on everybody in the company, and he's trying
Yeah.
to, really trying
Yeah.
to get everybody enthused on what he's doing because, but without leaving everybody out. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, it's not just the Gary show. It's he really probably
Yes.
tries to encompass that. So I really appreciate him, and especially in the NFT space, because you need that sort
Totally.
of injection of, because I imagine sometimes like he can be the funniest guy in the room. He could be he
absolutely.
could be the scariest guy in the room, or he could be the funniest guy in the room. And so having that in this space is really refreshing. But I do want to switch over to the Super Bowl. I know we got a little bit of limited time. There's a bet that Brian DeSanto posted, or line on DraftKings, right? Where they have over under on whether or not the Bored Apes are going to make an appearance in the halftime show.
Oh, interesting.
So do you have any insider information you want to leak?
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
I don't. I definitely don't have any alpha, like
Yeah.
black and white alpha to help, but
Yeah.
I would take the over.
Yeah.
Over meaning it'll be in it.
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
I would
cool.
take the over, yeah.
For sure. I mean, it's getting to a frothy sort of, sentiment within the community that it's going to happen. If it does
Sometimes I feel like in this community, and particularly in Wolf Game, things get willed into existence, if you get what I mean.
it seems that way for sure. Do you think though, like if it is, and if they do that, do you think that, because I'm a sports fan, I'm gonna love it, right? But
Yeah.
I also find that a lot of the NFT space may not be in that wavelength. Like the Top Shot people, yes, right? Like Top Shot, any of the sports memorabilia sites, maybe some of the VV. But for the most part, it's a technical sort of technical space, fixated more on the utility and the coding and whatnot, rather than the
Right.
How do you feel like it's going to be received well?
Yeah, it's a good point. It's like the actual viewers of the halftime show and the overlap of the people that be most excited. Like how big would that be?
Right.
I'm sure it'll be mixed. Like I'm sure there'll be a lot of people
Right.
being like, especially if it's like not the coolest, done the coolest way.
Right.
I'm sure, but at the same time, we know this in marketing world, like Super Bowl is the single biggest moment to increase brand awareness dramatically. So it'll be big for the quote unquote normies coming. Even if it's, no such thing as bad publicity sort of thing. There could be some of that, but I can't wait. And we have, Vayner has a few spots in too, and we're always looking at the ad meters and seeing how well did we do. So yeah.
I heard the rumor that, everything from like Snoop was gonna drink a super serum on stage and have his ape, get super mutated. And I heard that. So there was a while back, one of the first sort of catalysts for the Bored Ape Run was the signing of a sort of a metaverse music band, right? Had you guys heard about this?
Yeah, it was the one that I think Timbaland did for. Yeah.
Exactly. So there was rumor that they were going to make an appearance at the halftime show.
That would make sense, but they haven't quite taken off much. But I mean, who knows? If they show up and they crush it, it's like game on.
Yeah. It's just interesting to see, because I know, we can't. One of the things I like to do especially in a space like this that's so hot, is we can't ignore the negative, right? And definitely there is negative sentiment around NFTs in popular culture, but this could be a real driving moment to sort of maybe tip it in the scales of the positive
For
sides.
sure.
Yeah, I'm excited
sure.
about it though. I'm excited about it.
Me
Do you-
too. Me too.
do you think, and just the last question here, I know you got to go and time's running, and then I'll leave Neil for one final question. So we begin to see these sort of brands coming into the NFT space, like Nike, like Adidas, like Budweiser, Pepsi.
Yeah.
They're doing these NFT drops. And I see the sentiment from the community being somewhat mixed. You know, some people like it,
Yeah.
some people hate it. I like the way Gary did it. I think that that's the right way to do it. It's hard for Gary not to be genuine, you know?
Yep.
And I think, you know, he always described, one of the prominent things he said about VFriends was that was his IPO, right?
Yes.
That was his IPO. So
You want to own a piece of him to eventually own a piece of him. Yeah.
right. So do you feel like these companies are going about it? And obviously, you know, it's hard for you to tell Pepsi how to run their business. I mean, they've been around longer than all three of us have been alive combined. But
Right.
do you feel as though that is the right way to do it, or would you take more of a Gary approach if you were a brand?
I think I know that so many of the brands have good intentions. They're just, for one, like, you know, their procurement teams and finance teams are just like, we're gonna have to buy Ethereum. Like, no fucking way. Like they're
I know, yeah.
Their accountants are pulling their hair out.
Yeah, like they're really sticking their necks out to do it and try to engage, and it does take some courage. So that's cool. And they just can't do, like, even if they wanted to do some sort of, you know, oh hey, you get part of the royalties, or you join this DAO, like corporation. It's just, that's going to take a long time. So you are going to see some of these first projects be just like kind of novelty, you know, kitschy types of, more just like art drops. And it's not
Right.
because of a lack of good ideas. It's just bureaucracy. Not to mention marketers tend to ruin many things and all that. So it's like, there's just going to be a long curve for those things to get more interesting. It also, and this is a lot of how like the D2C direct to consumer startups got entrenched, is that that slowness allows the possibility of the Bored Apes and others to come along, and other like apparel sorts of things to unseat some of these incumbents. Like their slowness becomes a disadvantage. So that's interesting too. But yeah, I think I was cringing at that like Twitter screenshot of like all of the brands being like, "Hey, friend." Like,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, like that, like,
It was hard not to cringe, all right, yeah.
The funniest part was when someone was like, "Man, I can't wait for GM to get here."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be. I mean, it's inevitable, right?
Yeah.
I mean, where there's people, where there's eyeballs, where there's money, where there's enthusiasm, the beast will graze, so to speak.
Yes.
You know, so it's just a matter of, I think this time, drawing boundaries with them and engaging in a way where it's a symbiotic relationship, or fiduciary, you know, whereby you know, as in the past, it hasn't been such. So
it's interesting. It used to be like all media, push medium of like, hey, we own the airwaves with television, and so like we can just run our spots, and like there's no real two-way street, into like social media where like, hey, people are starting to leave comments, and we're starting to get more of this clear feedback of, you know, you don't want the social media mob. And now with Web3 stuff, it's that even more so. It's like, if you don't come correct with the community, like it's over.
Yeah.
I like that. I think it's good.
Yeah.
Just need to stay strong. That's hold the line, as they say.
Yes.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of scope in that kind of in the NFT space for brands to get that real connection that they've never had to their consumers.
Yes.
And like I know we're only just kind of seeing the tippity top of that, but do you think in terms of kind of say in your position, are you looking for kind of like almost new positions with people who understand the space, rather than
Yeah.
those traditional kind of people who studied finance or marketing or this in because I find like this space is the anti everything. It's the anti what you learn in college.
Oh,
Um,
totally.
so like it's just like I know I struggle to talk with some people who have studied these things in college, because they are so ingrained that it can only be done
Yes.
that way. And I'm just like, okay, but if you were to just think for 1 minute outside of that
Yes.
box,
Yes.
you know, and but you can't think outside that box. Why not? Oh, okay, sorry, right. No, that's fine, that's fine. And it just, you know, you don't want to be pushing it because
Yes.
yeah, so I guess having a company that's bridging those gaps. Do you have people in both camps?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you definitely have the entrenched folks, and like they've devoted a lot of like time studying these things, and like, you know, investment, you know, in terms of like education and things, and so they have like kind of a vested interest. Um, you know, it's hard to kind of pivot because you've kind of,
Yeah.
you know, leaned in there, but yeah, I mean, there's certainly no shortage of marketers that are like, this is the biggest BS ever, like, come back to us in a year once this implodes. And it's
The
like,
Kanye West.
all right. Um, and there's a lot of folks that, even if they don't know anything, are like super eager to learn and like trying their best. And that's been really cool to see. And they're like they feel in way over their heads, but they know they got to learn it.
Yeah.
So there's definitely the good side of the force there. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely getting to new positions. Like there's like last couple of years with TikTok, for example, it created this whole new position of like your like in-house TikTok young person that just like runs your brand's TikTok account. And they're
Yeah.
like 22,
Right.
and now they became this like hot commodity.
Right.
And there's definitely going to be that, and is already, for like your Web3 person or persons, not to mention developers. We're seeing it with like Discord mods. There's a
Yeah.
big demand. Brands are like, we need responsible, professional, but like know the community and are good.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really cool. And through Vayner NFT, you know, it's like a sister company technically. They're even further on the edge. They're the ones actually executing, you know, the bud partnerships and things.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's been fun. But yeah,
That's cool.
I could talk all night, fellas, but I do got to hop.
No
Yeah.
problem.
And that last thing you said kind of reminded me of that Kanye West post the other day.
Oh yeah.
I'm asking about NFTs, but later maybe. But
Yes.
thanks for coming on, John. I appreciate it, and good luck with the rest of Wolf Game. Hope your team takes it home. And
Thank you.
Yeah. Really appreciate your time. Thanks so much for
Of
coming
course. Thank you guys for having me.
appreciate it. Have a great day, my man.
Later.